All right, we have a kind of a double slate this evening for Students of the Month, so we'll jump right into it. Mr. Miller.
Sure. We're going to start off with our February Students of the Month. And at this time, could I please have Mr. Shank come forward?
Him that he was going to be coming up to the front, so hence the deer in headlights look, but you're doing a great job, buddy. All right, so we have our February Student of the Month, Evan Weigel, and his family is here this evening, Dad Charlie and Mom Rochelle and brother Nick, and then also the extended family with grandparents are here. His favorite things to do are play with the neighbors, swim with them, and sleepovers with the cousins. His favorite color is green, favorite food is apples, and favorite sport is baseball. And favorite thing about school is morning work and the bus time. That's not because you get to leave, right? Oh, he's shaking his head, yes. We should have rehearsed this before we started. He feels like he is special because he makes sure everybody is okay. Dad's a firefighter, so I'm sure it's in his blood to make sure to take care of people. And when he grows up, he wants to be a
bike racer.
All right. Evan, we're very fortunate to have you at Greenwood. Great job and keep up the great work, okay? If you could please put your hands together for him.
Excellent job. Congratulations. Next up, can I please have Mrs. Maraschino come forward to celebrate our Green Primary Student of the Month?
All right, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Jack Foringer, and he is joined tonight by his dad, Jay, mom, Trina, and his sister, Julia, who's a 7th grader at the middle school. Jack has lots to share with you. I had a good conversation with him today, and he would like you to know that his goals and dreams include having good grades in school, number one, to do all of these other dreams. His dreams are to be either a math or a science teacher or a weather or space scientist. He would like to be a dad, and as a hobby, he would like to be a singer. Would you like to sing this evening? No. Okay. Just wanted to give that opportunity to you. All right. Favorite subjects include science because he likes to study it and he loves it. Math because it challenges him, and his great teacher, Mr. Greenwood, who is also here with Jack this evening, he says that he challenges him in math every single day. He also enjoys jumping on the trampoline, playing baseball, bowling, collecting rare minerals, studying the weather, playing 10,000 rummy, yes, 10,000, and I believe the score is, you said you have around 5,000, and
My mom's about to get to 6,000.
Mom's almost at 6,000. Very competitive family. Interesting facts about Jack includes that he does not like sugar cookies and that he has moved 4 times already in his young life, and his collection of minerals includes sapphire, emeralds, ruby, and a meteorite, which was a Christmas gift. That's kind of different than coal in your stocking.
I actually asked my dad for some coal.
And you got a meteorite instead? That's impressive, Dad. You must have been really good. All right, best advice given to Jack is that your actions are not invisible. People see them. And their family motto is BACON. Be kind, adventurous, have courage, be open, and no negativity. Jack's teachers say about Jack, he's a role model to other students. He demonstrates bark behavior throughout the school building. Jack is a willing and very motivated student who loves to be challenged. He gives 110% on every piece of schoolwork. Jack is a model student for his behavior, work ethic, kindness, and respect for everyone at GPS. So on behalf of Green Primary School, Jack, congratulations. We're very proud of you.
All right, well done. Next up, Mr. Booth, Green Intermediate School.
Good evening, everyone. What a pleasure for me to stand next to Ben Capps for one of our students at Green Intermediate. He's a 6th grader. He is on the Mrs. Sears, Mrs. Hamilton, Mr. Mostoff, and Mrs. Brooks's team. He is here tonight with David and Kelly Casper, and he has a younger brother who is a 2nd grader at GPS, and also a sophomore brother who is at Green High School. A little bit about him. His favorite school subjects are honors math. He also loves science as his 2nd favorite. He has always worked hard at his grades, and he gets all A's since he has been at Green Intermediate School. His advice to students is the fact that he says pay attention, listen, and study your notes as his advice to help you learn. He's a sports guy. He plays sports in all seasons. In the fall, he has played football for 6 years, and he loves this sport. He is a defensive tackle, is his best position. He plays baseball in the spring, and he has done that for 7 years, and has played first base. Also, in the winter, he swims for the Barracudas, and his favorite stroke is the 50-yard backstroke, and he has done that for 7 years. He also enjoys hiking in the summer or hiking in the fall with his family in the fall hiking spree. Future plans and goals include becoming an architect. He would also love to play football for the Ohio State University, and he would also like to stay close to home when he goes to school. He would love to go to London and possibly Europe on a trip. Something special about him, he can solve the Rubik's Cube very quickly. Very impressive. He also, his heroes include his parents, his teachers, which he mentioned Mr. Snavely as one of his favorite teachers because he challenged him more. He gave him harder work, and he truly appreciated that, and he pushed him to new heights. His teacher, Mrs. Sears, says these kind things about Ben. Ben is kind and patient when working with his peers. He is very mature for his age and a hard worker. He steps up as a leader during group work and shows attention to detail with his schoolwork. Ben is always respectful and is self-motivated. So please help me in congratulating Ben as our Student of the Month at GIS.
All right, thank you. And now we have Mr. Wells for Green Middle School Student of the Month.
Good evening, everybody. It's my pleasure to introduce Nick DeRazio as our February Student of the Month. Nick is here with his mom and dad, Daniel and Marie, at the back, as well as his brother Danny, who is a student at the high school, right? Yeah. Okay. Nick has worked so hard while his time at Green, his 2 years. Nick always gives 110% in all of his classes, his activities, his homework, tests, quizzes, and overall in all of his classes. His determination to be successful in school is shown in the way that he completes all of his assignments and takes the time and effort to make sure his work is completed accurately. His persistent efforts in school have led him to having excellent grades every 9 weeks. At Green Middle School, I can tell you this, he is a very respectful and kind young man. He's well liked by his peers. He's well liked by the staff. Nick is overall just a tremendous young man. In his 2 years at GMS, Nick has participated in choir. He's got a great voice, I hear, as well as Bulldog Buddies, GameSpot, and he also participates in baseball, golf, bowling, and several other activities outside of school. So again, could you help me congratulate Nick DeRazio as our February Student of the Month?
Great job, Nick. And finally, Mrs. Brown, Green High School.
Good evening. My two seniors of the month for February are Jake Vini and Ann Zivick. Jake is the son of Lynn and Scott Vini and has one sister, Jenna. He is a 3-year letterman and captain of the football team. He's also the vice president of the Green High School Key Club, where he volunteers at places like Akron Food Bank, and he is an active participant in our science club. Jake plans to study mechanical engineering in college. Do you have a decision where you're going?
Ohio State.
So congratulations to Jake. Anne is our other student of the month for February, and she's the daughter of John and Tricia Zivick and the twin sister of Maria Zivick. She is a 4-year letter winner on the GHS tennis team and a 3-time state qualifier. She's also involved in Girls of Green, is the vice president of the science club, plays the clarinet in the wind ensemble, and works at Guy's Party Center. After graduation, she plans to attend college and study engineering or nursing. And Anne, do you have a decision? Where are you going?
Ohio State.
Going from Bulldogs to Buckeyes. All right. Congratulations to Ann.
All right, congratulations to all of our February students of the month, and now we're going to move into our March students of the month. So at this time, can we have Mr. Shank come forward for Greenwood? It's like deja vu.
I have the pleasure of introducing Eden Buchanan. She is the March student of the month, and she is here with Grammy, and also her teacher, Mrs. Schoen. And her favorite things to do are play with dolls, dance, and sing. And she said she is special because she is a love bug, and I can attest to that. She always is greeting people with a big smile, warm hug, and she can light up anybody's day. So she does a wonderful job with that at Greenwood. Her favorite color is pink. Her favorite food is hot dog, and favorite game or sport is basketball. And her favorite thing about school is doing morning work, which I found was very interesting because Evan said the same thing. So they're eager to start the day. She felt she is special because she is friendly and nice. Yes, she is. And when she grows up, she wants to be
A doctor.
a doctor. And again, with her warm smile, she can make any patient feel welcome, I believe, and at rest. So again, if you could please put your hands together for Eden, our star student.
All right, Mrs. Maraschino.
Hello again. It is my pleasure to introduce our March student of the month, who is Hayden Hart. Hayden is a 3rd grade student in Mrs. Kurt's classroom who has joined us this evening. She's also joined by her parents, Christina and John Hart, her brother Joey, who's a 4th grader, a good friend, and grandparents. So you have quite the fan club here tonight, don't you? We are very proud to share some great information about Miss Hayden. Her goals and dreams are to become a teacher, and before she does that, she plans on earning a scholarship to Kent State University to attend, that is where her older sister Nadia attends. So wants to follow in her big sister's footsteps and study to become a teacher. Her favorite subject in school is language arts, and she said that she enjoys this class because Mrs. Kurtz makes reading fun, and she loves reading and writing. She's currently reading the book, The Tiger Rising. She said it's a good book. Her favorite thing about GPS is Robotics Club, which is a new club that we have started. And she explained to me in Robotics Club, which is a club that meets before school, she's learning how to use robots along with Legos to code and to have the robots move, to dance, and to speak, all before school even starts. Her favorite activities include gymnastics and slime making. She shared that her best event in gymnastics is the bars, and slime making, well, that's every girl's favorite hobby right about now, I think. So she's doing a lot of slime making at home. She said she also enjoys playing with her brother and the other kids in the neighborhood. They like to play the classic cops and robbers game when it's nice outside, right? Have some fun outdoors. Interesting facts about Hayden. She does have a sister in college, which she and I connected because I have a sister that's much younger than I am as well. So we talked about that relationship, which is definitely unique. And she is very flexible, which makes her great at gymnastics. The best advice given to Hayden was always be kind to everyone, and she said that Mrs. Kurtz and Mrs. Davis has taught her that this year. Her teachers' comments about Hayden, they say Hayden is a wonderful student in the classroom. She's always following the BARC behavior and is a role model for other students in the class. Hayden is kind to others. She gets along well with others and has a positive attitude towards school. Hayden is very intelligent, conscientious student who does well in all of her subjects. Hayden loves to read, and when she grows up, as I stated earlier, she plans on being an elementary school teacher. So Hayden, when you do that, I want you to come back to GPS, and we'll look at what position we can put you in, okay? All right, sounds good. So it is my pleasure to congratulate Miss Hayden Hart.
All right, Mr. Booth, Green Intermediate.
Hello again. It's my pleasure to introduce our March Student of the Month, Jamie Dusky, who is a sixth grader at GIS. She is on the Mr. Foster, Mrs. Anderson, Mrs. Shockley, and Mr. Badenford team. She's here tonight with her mom, Chastity, and her dad, Jason, and her sister, Kylie, who is a seventh grader at Green Middle School. Her favorite school subjects include social studies and math are her favorites. Also, she has received all A's and 1 B+ on her report card while she's been at GIS. She has participated in the Mega Marathon, which is the Green Schools Foundation challenge that we have for our kids, and she completed that for the 2 years and is planning on completing that hopefully this year. She has also been a part of the Bulldog Dash running club that was hosted last fall at our school, where kids were running after school and did a great job there. She is a soccer girl. Listen to this. She's been playing soccer since she's been 6 years old. She plays for the Jackson Fury, and then she plays for the Premier team, and then she plays all year long. So basically, you're ending here, you said, this weekend, and then starting up again the next league. So she's just on it. You hope to play for Green High School someday, I hope? Awesome, awesome. Well, we hope so, too. She plays midfielder and forward. Speaking of soccer, her college choice is North Carolina because they have a great soccer team, and she has hopes to play for the U.S. World Cup someday, so has high hopes, and she's going to continue to grow with all that soccer. So, her favorite time was when her family went to Splash Lagoon and really enjoyed her time. Her advice to students coming up: pay attention, be kind, and be determined to reach your goals. Those are the 3 recommendations that she has. Mr. Foster writes these kind words for Jamie. Jamie can always be found doing the right thing. She is always on task, helpful to her peers, and respectful at all times. Her positive attitude and daily habits are an example for everyone. So congratulations, Jamie Dusky, our Student of the Month at GIS.
Mr. Wells, Green Middle School.
Good evening again. It's my pleasure to introduce our March Student of the Month, and it's Kaiten Plazo. She's an 8th grader at the middle school, and she is the daughter of David and Debbie, who are here this evening, as well as looks like both brothers are here. Both brothers. Kyle, who's at GIS, and then Carson, who's a little bit younger, will be a Bulldog shortly. Right, Carson? Some neat things about Caitlin. When I spoke to her, she started playing the piano recently, which I thought is neat. And she really enjoys spending time with her friends and her family. This part I thought was neat, so Mom and Dad, you might appreciate this. When I asked her what she's looking forward to, it's when she turns 16, and the natural reaction you think, oh, I can't wait to get my license. Well, it's not to get her license. It's so that she can volunteer at the Akron Children's Hospital. And then from there on, afterwards, I said, what would you like to do after that? She said she'd like to attend Kent State and pursue a career in nursing. So I thought that was really neat. It says a lot about Caitlin. Caitlin's teachers say this about her: she is a sheer pleasure to have in class. She gives 100% every day and in every subject. Her quiet demeanor does not let her go unnoticed. She is respected by her peers and teachers at the middle school. Caitlin's warm smile and kind heart make her an extraordinary young lady to work with on a daily basis. GMS is bulldog proud to call her our own. So again, could you help me congratulate Caitlin as the March Student of the Month at Green Middle School?
All right, and Mrs. Brown.
Our March Seniors of the Month are Sophie Kestner and Trent Kingan. Sophie is the daughter of Chris and Erin Kestner and the older sister to Cece. She played on the girls' varsity tennis team for 4 years and is involved in our National Honor Society, as well as the Fellowship of Christian Students. She's active in our Girls of Green and is currently an officer. Outside of school, she's very involved in her youth group at the chapel, and in the fall, she plans on furthering her education at High Point University in North Carolina. So congratulations to Sophie. Trent Kingan is the son of Scott and Lori and has 2 brothers, Clay and Scott, who are alumni. He has been on the swim team for the past 4 years, where he served as captain for the past 2. He's our vice president of the senior class and is very active in many clubs throughout the high school, including National Honor Society, Student Council, Key Club, and Spanish Club. He plans to attend the University of Dayton to pursue a degree in business administration. So congratulations to Trent.
Congratulations to all of our Students of the Month, and thank you, parents, family, and friends for trusting Green Local Schools with your precious cargo. Some of the kids, I think they always make me feel really bad when I was in school of all the things they do. I'm tired up here after some of the sports that they're in, activities, clubs, just a great representative of the community. So thank you, guys. Next up, we're going to segue to our spotlight on staff, and we have 3 outstanding individuals to recognize tonight. So would Deb Pompeo, Amy Rock, and Janelle Dolph please come forward? And what's neat about all 3 of these individuals tonight that we're honoring is we received emails and phone calls from not just colleagues, but we had parents and we had administrators. So I'm going to start with Deb. Deb has been a bus driver for 21 years and our onboard instructor for over 8 years. Some of the comments included that she never hesitates to offer help or bring issues of how to make things better so that we can address them to make sure our students and community are safe. She coordinates training, which involves our staff and students, and obviously it's a critical job because it's all about safety. And with this, everybody said the same thing. She goes above and beyond. One of the things that was written here by a parent is that she can tell that she genuinely cares about her child, and although she goes over the rules with the students and says you need to listen, it's important, she follows that up because I care about you and I want to keep you safe, which I thought was a really neat thing that a child would repeat to a parent. And in addition, she is trusted by her colleagues in the bus garage. She always has the best interest in mind of the district, and everybody said the same thing, that we're very fortunate to have her. So Deb, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you. And Janelle, what was written here I thought was really heartfelt. It says, upon meeting Janelle, her passion and her heart for working with students, particularly those with disabilities, was absolutely evident. After just a short time on the job, a parent sent an incredibly heartfelt email about her child and described all the extra things that Janelle does for them on a daily basis, going above and beyond. We're very fortunate that Janelle came to us this year, and we look forward to continually having her on staff, knowing that so many students are going to benefit from her. And she's just passionate and so positive to everybody she comes in contact with. So thank you. Let's give Janelle a round of applause. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to talk to my kids. Right, and finally, we have Mrs. Amy Rock. She's an extremely talented and accomplished teacher. She leads our Green High School marching band for several years now. Under her leadership, our band has grown in talent and size. Not only in her hands are they technically strong, but they're also entertaining and fun. Amy serves also in the capacity of the Performing Arts Department chairperson, leading an extraordinary group of individuals. She's kind and generous to all of her students. She gives her students her all every single day. We're very, very lucky to have her and call her a bulldog. So we just thank you, Amy, for all that you do. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. How about one more round of applause for all of our students and our staff? And for those of you who don't want to stay for the remainder of the meeting, we'll give you a few minutes to collect your stuff and make your way out to the back. Feel free to stay. I know there's other things happening.
Stay,
but-
it's okay. It's quite fun. It's very entertaining.
Their whole audience.
I think, you know what, I think we need to spice it up a little bit to get people to stay.
We could offer something to eat.
Maybe not that, maybe we should sing.
Did he say sing?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can do that.
I know you can. I can try. I
There
don't
you
mind trying. Leave me hanging. Leave me hanging.
Holy cow.
Oh boy. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, the entire
Sorry, we still have
place cleared out.
George left.
I am not taking this personal at all.
Wow.
Wendell,
Entire place.
Wendell, you can let the overflow room know that there's plenty of room in the chambers now. As the last people are making their way out, we'll continue on with the approval of the agenda. I do not believe there is any items, any addendum items, so can I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Finelli, and thank you, Mr. Cohen. Mrs. Snowberger?
Mrs. Finelli,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Herdlick,
Yes.
Mrs. Stoynoff,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. There's no need for executive session at this time. Recognition of visitors and public participation in the agenda items. If there's anyone that would like to speak, feel free. Otherwise, we'll just keep rolling along here. Item number 7, with the approval of the minutes, the regular board meeting minutes of March the 1st, 2018. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Stoynoff.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Herdlick. Just a quick comment. I know it's it's kind of the February meeting, but we did push that back just for a few additional items to add on to the March meeting. So, Mrs. Snowberger, if you'd call the roll.
Mrs. Stoynoff,
Yes.
Mr. Herdlick,
Yes.
Mrs. Finelli,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Moving on to the financial report. The superintendent and treasurer recommend the Board of Education approve the financial report and payment of bills as presented by the treasurer. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So,
Thank you, Mr. Herdlick
second.
and Mr. Cohen. Questions or comments? Mrs. Snowberger?
Mr. Herdlick,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Finelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Stoynoff.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item 9, under the new business, the consent calendar note. As always, items under the consent calendar are considered routine and being acted under one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time the board votes, unless a board member requests an item be clarified or even removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Fallon. Questions or comments?
Yeah, I'd like to just take a minute to thank everybody that came out to the safety meeting that we had. It was a very wintry Ohio day, very windy, and over 300 people came because they're concerned we're the same thing we are, which is to make our schools as safe as possible. So we appreciate and value the information that was provided, and as we continue to gather information and work on looking at every single thing, I just wanted to make a comment of how much we value and appreciate that evening and for those that came out. So I just wanted to touch on that.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mrs. Snowberger.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mrs. Finelli,
Yes.
Mr. Herdlick,
Yes.
Mrs. Stoyanov,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Moving on to item A, the superintendent and treasurer recommend the Board of Education approve the agreement from March 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2021 with the Lake County Educational Service Center to enter into consortia for Naviance by Hobson's software licenses, professional development, and technical support at a cost not to exceed $15,000 annually. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Stoyanov,
Second.
and thank you, Mrs. Finelli. Questions or comments?
Yeah, I'd like to just comment, obviously here we're partnering with the Lake County ESC because they offer this program, which is something that our district values, and I wanted to touch on the program. Naviance is a software license that's used at Green High School and also aspects of Green Middle School. The service allows for the issuance of high school transcripts. It's utilized by students to complete their common applications as they prepare for life after Green High School when applying to colleges or otherwise. It's also used by staff to complete letters of recommendation request. Entering into this consortium saves us money by looking at the annual pricing and allowing us to receive additional professional development with our staff and counselors and other staff members that's as needed. And I do know that Mrs. Brown finds this to be very valuable, and it's something that, you know, we're very happy with.
Excellent.
Can I just say, as the parent of a high school senior, it's an incredibly helpful program, and it really facilitates kids actually applying to college because it's kind of a one-stop shopping area for them. They fill out the Common App, letters of recommendation are collected on that with the software, and it's just an extremely convenient way, and I think it probably has even increased our kids that are applying to college because it's made it easier.
And we all know as a senior, simple and easy are like two buzzwords for sure. Anything else? Mrs. Snowberger?
Mrs. Stoyanov,
Yes.
Mrs. Finelli,
Yes.
Mr. Herdlick,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item B, the superintendent and treasurer recommend the Board of Education approve the 2018-2019 Green High School Curriculum Guide and Course Descriptions. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
Second.
And thank you, Mr. Herdlick. Questions or comments?
I've asked Mrs. Brown to just touch briefly on some of the changes for this year, and it's always hard to believe that when we do this that you know that you're already talking about the next school year.
Yeah, we have completed scheduling all 1,400 students as of this week. So we're moving on to putting together the master schedule, which there's actually 54,000 different combinations that can be created with all the classes that we have at Green High School. Fortunately, our changes in the curriculum guide are minor, and some of them come from the Ohio Department of Education, which if you look on page 6 of our curriculum guide in the school awards and honors, the state has actually made it possible for a couple more specific types of honors diplomas. So students could pursue honors diplomas in the areas of the arts, STEM, or social sciences and civic engagement. And that is something that as we are getting closer when they are juniors and seniors, we have our junior and senior meetings with the individual students. We talk about those with our student population, and that just came to be this school year, so it's in effect for the class of 2019. Also, that something that just happened within the past 3 months, sometimes the Ohio Department of Education doesn't work on school years. They announce things mid-year, is the Ohio Seal of Biliteracy. And this is an award that is conferred upon graduating seniors who demonstrate a high level of proficiency in English and at least one other world language, which includes modern languages, classic languages, American Sign Language, and Native American languages. So at the beginning of a senior's senior year, during their senior interview, if they would like to pursue the Seal of Biliteracy, which is actually a credential on their high school transcript, they need to let our counselors know. And we're actually in the process of looking for some assessments that qualify as a method of receiving the Seal of Biliteracy. Right now, our current graduating seniors who have received a 3 or higher on their AP Spanish test will be eligible for the Seal of Biliteracy. And since we don't get AP scores back until July, those seniors who qualified this year with their AP score can request a second transcript so that they could see the credentialing on that transcript. So those are just some up-and-coming things. What's really interesting about this is that students who are native speakers who have actually are bilingual in their homes can actually get the Seal of Biliteracy with their home language in English. So we have several students, several languages represented as we started going through those in our own district, and that is something that they can look forward to. On page 18, we have kind of simplified our mathematics classes. We used to have some different leveled classes in math. That was our response to the first time when Algebra 2 became a graduation requirement. And what we have found over the past few years is that our students' level of math understanding with the college preparatory math classes has increased, and we no longer need those remedial courses. So we were able to shore those up. Another thing that we're changing as a result of the increased math proficiency of our students is that instead of having a block of calculus and then a block of AP Calc coupled together, the students now will be choosing to take either a year-round honors calculus class or a year-round period AP Calc class. Mr. Dara has found that the students who are coming to him after having 3 years of CPM are much more qualified, and so he no longer feels that he needs that full block of calculus before reaching into AP Calc. So we've changed that up, and in doing that, it's actually created 7 more teaching sections in our mathematics program, which is 1 1/6 teacher. So we're pretty excited about that because we can offer to some of our typical college prep courses some smaller class sizes, so students will have the remediation opportunities in class with their teachers. So that's one change. Our French program continues to grow with Mr. Gustafson and Mrs. Isaacson at the high school, and we are adding French 5 to our curriculum this coming school year. We're not quite ready for AP French yet, but that will lead us into 2019-2020. That is when we will start actually offering AP French. And then our last major change to the curriculum guide is that we are going to be offering AP Computer Science and Principles next year in our computer science department. We're very lucky. It's very hard to come by a teacher that's actually certified in computer science, and we have one. Don't tell anybody else about Mr. Christopher. And he is very excited to teach more coding and programming classes, and we will be offering AP Computer Science, which sounds very difficult, and it is, but it is also a great introductory AP course for students. So we're very excited about that opportunity. Any questions?
How many AP classes is that now?
15. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice. Any questions or comments?
Sounds
Mrs.
great.
Snibber? Oh, she said
Sounds great. Sounds great.
ditto. Mrs. Snowburner?
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Hurdlick,
Yes.
Mrs. Finelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Stoyanov,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item C, the superintendent and treasurer recommended the Board of Education approve the joint agreement to appoint the Business Advisory Council of the Summit County Educational Service Center to serve as the Business Advisory Council for the Green Local School District. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Finelli.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. Questions or comments?
Last year, there were some modifications made through law that required the school district to, one option was to partner with your ESCs to develop a business or be part of a business advisory council. So we partner with Summit County ESC that serves some of our students. So because of that, we were able to partner with them. And obviously, we have a lot of businesses here in Greene that's Summit County that we felt advantageous to partner with the Summit County in this regard for the Business Advisory Council. The benefit, obviously, is that when we go to these meetings and we talk to Summit County businesses, our teachers, our staff, and then certainly our students are going to be able to receive mentorship opportunities, some different things that will take place. And this year, the requirement was to have the board move forward, make the adoption, the decision. We have multiple meetings that are scheduled, and then next year, they gave you some time to phase it in. Next year, there's going to be more meetings on a regular basis, and I think it's something that is going to be valuable. So, like I said, I think it's going to mean a lot to continue to work with our businesses here in Greene and be part of the Summit County ESC for that.
And this is part of the initiative that was initiated by Governor Kasich several years ago to kind of get broaden that.
Yeah, at one time there was some discussion about having teachers go out to businesses and require so many hours and different things. Well, that didn't make it through. So this is something that was kind of inspired by this to give school districts an opportunity to partner with businesses in conversation about how we can do things maybe better, because we're obviously always wanting to improve in terms of what the business community thinks.
Okay, thanks. Mrs. Snowberger?
Mrs. Finelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Soinoff?
Yes.
Mr. Hurdlick?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Item D, the superintendent and treasurer recommend the Board of Education approve the annual agreement with MAP for the benchmark assessment and reporting of students in grades K through 8 for the 2018-2019 school year at a cost not to exceed $36,000. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Stoynoff,
Second.
and thank you, Mrs. Finelli. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, so this is something that we've had now for a little while. The MAP assessments are administered to students K through 8 in English language arts and math. They're given 3 times a year, and this is obviously an annual renewal. The results, what's nice about MAP is they're given 3 times, and teachers are able to instantly see the results that students receive on these, and obviously they can modify their instruction, work with the students right then and there, and not have to wait till an end of year or a state assessment. So with that, what we'd use those results for to monitor student growth, inform instructional decisions to our classroom teachers. And the other thing I can tell you is a lot of our parents have really reached out and said this is a great thing, because now they get to see their child's progress measured in the fall, the winter, and then the spring, so adjustments can be made. And like I said, parents like receiving these in addition to the other things that we do. So those are our MAP assessments, and our staff are continuing to work hard to like anything, there's so many aspects to the reports that you can dig into, and that's something that we're continually having conversations in our TBTs, which are teacher-based teams.
And so this would kind of funnel right into like the value-added score and the growth score. I mean, it wouldn't be reflective just of that, but that's a big piece of that. Also
Yeah,
in the report card. So
yeah.
it's not just another assessment, it's kind of actually going to a final, a grade or level, right?
Yeah, it feeds in, but I do think that the greatest value that it gives is a teacher can give the assessment to the kids, and then within a couple days have all that information in front of them and adjust accordingly. So you may have a child that maybe I'm a teacher and I think that this child should be reading this book and be working with these kids, and then they take this assessment and I have to recalibrate using data to drive my decisions. Obviously our staff are well versed, and more times than not they're spot on. But sometimes you realize, I know my son's one, the teacher called and said, I think the books that he really enjoys and loves are wonderful, but I think he can push himself a little bit and challenge himself because this score says that. And as a parent, I know that's really good to hear, and it's data to show me instead of, just sometimes it's subjective at times.
What
So
does
he's now
MAP
reading
stand
War and
for?
Peace then, right? He's a second grader? No.
Yeah, no, he's definitely out of the Captain Underpants books now, so,
I'm sure he's going to be loving to hear that.
yes.
Sally, did you have something? to
Yes,
say?
what does MAP stand for, if you wouldn't mind telling us?
You know what? That is a very good question. Do you have it, Mrs. Bruick? All
There
right.
you
I was going to take a stab, and I had 2 out of the 3
So
words
for,
correct.
For the record, measure of academic progress. Okay.
Thank you. And thank you, Kim. Mrs. Snowberger?
Mrs. Stoyanov?
Yes.
Mrs. Finelli?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Hurdlick?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Any comments or anybody on the clipboard? Or anybody want to make comments? No? Okay. For board combinations, Mrs. Stoyanov, how about if we start with you this evening?
Sure. So it doesn't seem like it really hasn't been that long since we met, but a lot of exciting things going on. I had the opportunity to participate as the volunteer coordinator for the GMS Carnival. I actually filled out my retirement papers and have passed that task on to Lisa McFedries for next year, but it was nice to go back and be able to help. It was a rousing success again this year. A lot of young people there had a really good time. I'd like to thank the Carnival Committee and specifically Carrie Stevens, who, like me, came back this year to kind of help. And if you know Carrie Stevens, she gets the job done. I'd say Carrie, and I'm probably low on this, has been involved in projects and headed projects of the PTA that have probably raised upwards of $25,000 to $30,000 for this district. So I want to say thank you to her. She's also, as many of you know, a personal friend. We go back all the way to our Taco Bell days as teenagers. So I've known Carrie for a long time, and we really had a wonderful group that put together the carnival, and I will miss it. And I'm not disappearing, so you might see me back there next year. We'll see. Also had the opportunity on Saturday night after the carnival to attend the Bulldog Bash, the Booster Club fundraiser, which was a lot of fun at Guy's Party Center, and a lot of wonderful baskets, and of course a lot of hard work that went into that. So I'd like to thank everybody from the Booster Club who worked to put that event together. Had the opportunity, I guess a week ago, to see the GIS musical, The Music Man. Saw Mr. Cohen and Mrs. Bruick's young children in there doing a wonderful job on that performance. So congratulations to everybody for that. Over the last couple weeks, we've had initiative throughout the district of kindness weeks, particularly at the high school and at the middle school. And when I was at the middle school on Saturday, I had an opportunity to see all the wonderful decorating that had been done there as part of Kindness Week. And thank you to all the parents and teachers and everyone who made that possible, and those that gave donations and other things for prizes. And I heard they popped 100 pounds of popcorn at the high school as the first day of their initiative, where they popped for positivity. Did I get that right, Mrs. Brown? So 100 pounds of popcorn is a lot of popcorn. So I'm glad that we were able to be a part of that. Just echo Mr. Miller's comments. Thank you to everyone who attended the meeting on March 1st. We had a wonderful turnout and a lot of respectful discussion and a lot of great ideas, so I appreciate that input from the community. And with that, I'll say happy spring break to everybody. It seems like it's been a long time coming. Hopefully we'll get some nice weather over the next week, and everybody will have a pleasant and safe time. And that's all I have for today.
Thank you, Mrs. Stoyanov. Mrs. Finelli?
Well, we also went to the carnival at Green Middle School, and my grandkids loved the cake walk, and we went home with 6 yummy cupcakes. Thank goodness, because that's all they wanted to do was walk around that thing.
Any
12 times.
goldfish?
No, thank
There
goodness.
were goldfish, though.
There were goldfish, but we missed them. Congratulations to Green Primary students and their Jump Rope for the Heart campaign, with guidance from Green Primary School phys ed teacher Nikki West. The students learned heart-healthy daily routines, played jump rope games, hula hooped, and learned facts about water while raising an incredible $10,736 for the American Heart Association. And congratulations to all the Green High School choirs who recently received a superior rating at district competitions, and all the choirs now have the opportunity to perform and compete at state. And we went to several varsity high school basketball games this season, my husband and I, and we really enjoyed. There were some really great games. Green, Jackson, and Lake tied for the Federal League co-champions, so and we get some of those boys back next year too, so that's a good thing. That's it.
Thank you, Mrs. Finelli. Mr. Hurdley.
Look at you sneaking on by. This week, a couple events going on. We have the Winter Sports Banquet tomorrow night at the high school. Congratulations to all our winter athletes on great seasons in all their sports. And then, obviously, good luck to our spring athletes who have now begun softball and baseball and track and field. So good luck to all those athletes as they move through their spring sports. Also, the Top 25 banquet is this Wednesday at Chenoweth. Always one of my favorite events to attend. If you think your lives are very busy, just go to this event and listen to these kids talk about what they do, and you will think that you should have more things that you should be able to fit into your lives, because it's very impressive to hear their resumes and everything that they do, whether it's volunteering, their schoolwork, clubs, sports. Very busy kids, and obviously still maintaining a very giant GPA to get them into the top 25. So congratulations to all of our top 25 that will be honored on Wednesday. Also, the Green Schools Foundation is looking for additional board members. You can go to our website, which is greenschoolsfoundation.com. The application is online there. So if you're looking for a rewarding volunteer experience, come join us at the foundation. Always looking for some good volunteers there. And also have a great spring break. I know a lot of people will be traveling, so be safe. Enjoy your last little break before the final push coming back for your last fourth quarter here, and enjoy and have a happy Easter. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Hurdley. Mr. Cohen.
Do you want to go? I always steal your thunder.
No, that's
sure
all
you
right.
want to go?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Okay, so first of all, congratulations to the Green High School members of the Science Club who placed second in the Bridgestone STEM competition, earning $2,000 for the school. They weathered an extremely difficult series of challenges, and we're going to be hearing all about their presentation at the April Board of Education meeting. It's a huge accomplishment, and looking forward to that report. Also, speaking of the high school, Green High School had a very successful ensemble cabaret about 8 or 9 days ago in the Senior Commons. Fantastic concert, and some of you got to witness it. It was an amazing display of talent that I think it was the best cabaret I've been to, and I've been to just about every single one of them since they started doing them about 5 years ago. The ensemble is going to be having their spring concert on May 18th and May 19th in the auditorium, and hoping to get a huge crowd there. Is it April or May? Pardon me?
It's the week before.
Oh, okay, I could be wrong.
The 18th is prom. Yeah.
Scratch that. It's sometime in May. I'll be sure to get you the proper date next month's board meeting. Also, just wanted to echo Katie's comments about the Green Intermediate musical, The Music Man. Thank you to Mr. Booth for always supporting the performing arts. Thank you to the musical director, Tricia Brunkhardt. Mrs. Dietl always does a tremendous job with the outfits. She must have hundreds or thousands in her collection of outfits, and always working so hard, and makes the kids look just so great. And Katie's right. Aiden Bruick did steal the show. I think I'm going to move to Gary, Indiana, actually, after that rendition. I was just wanted to say I was fortunate enough to attend the Bridges Out of Poverty workshop a couple of weeks ago here at the CAB that was put on with the City of Green and with United Way, and it was extremely eye-opening and a very rewarding experience. And then finally, on a sad note, I just wanted to recognize the passing of Scott Denny, one of our great Green parents who has 2 kids in the high school. His wife, Shelley, worked at Green Primary up until recently. And just a great family, always a supporter of the Green schools, about the nicest guy you could possibly
imagine. Always had a smile on his face. I always looked forward to driving through Meadowood just to see him there, just so I could wave at him, because he always had the biggest smile on his face. Just a phenomenal guy. One of the positive things is not only the community rallying around this family, is the fact that Scott was an organ donor, and his gift of organ donation has really made a difference in the lives of so many people. And it's something that I'm not sure a lot of us think about. And this is a guy that died absolutely unexpectedly. But because of his gift and his family's gift, so many people are benefiting from such a tragedy. So that is all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. And I'll just finish up with just, obviously, Scott was just a wonderful individual, and their family. But moving off of that, you know, some of the things that we've seen, one of the things that I've, there's a lot of things that Jeff and the administration do that have impressed me over the last several years. Probably one of them, a big piece of that is that, you know, those of us who are like Summit County people always think that everything has to be done through Summit County. And not that a lot of things aren't done through Summit County, but you know, it's interesting as we've kind of broadened our vision a little bit as to, and taking advantage of the things that are offered from the different educational service centers, and not just going to the, you know, the one that's either closest or services our county, but, you know, we do a lot with Stark County, we do some things with Summit County, we do some things with
Cuyahoga County.
yeah, Cuyahoga and Lake County, and it's all basically, you know, taking the best that everybody has to offer and bringing it back in here into Green, and making sure that, you know, we're doing things the best way we can and getting the best professional development. So I know it takes a little bit of, it takes a, you know, sometimes a pretty big initial step to do that, and then once you get some of those results, you realize that, you know, there's a lot of great practices in there that we can take advantage of, and not have to invent the wheel, but we can certainly make the wheel a little bit better each time that it comes back into Green. So I'd like to just make sure that recognize the staff for their not only for their willingness to do it, but for their taking the chance to get out there and do something just a little bit different. We do have need for executive session this evening, Ohio Revised Code 12122 for personnel, and we do not anticipate any action to be taken afterwards. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session at this time?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Stoynoff.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Finelli. Mrs. Snowberger?
Mrs. Stoynoff?
Yes.
Mrs. Finelli?
Yes.
Mr. Hurdlick?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Have a good spring break. Happy Easter.